What's up, YouTube? Hudson Fan 15 back with a video response for JTellYouCat0628. Recently subscribed to him. I've seen some video responses come up for this contest. Enjoying the channel so far. He is doing a "What do you love about the hobby?" video response contest. I knew about cards, and I've been in cards far before YouTube. When I first discovered baseball cards, it was something that I did not realize immediately would become as much of a part of my life as it has been. There has been ebbs and flows in my life with collecting, but thankfully, every time I've gone away from it, I've come back to it and found something new to love about it all over again. And life takes you different directions, but for me, I am young enough that collecting has always been there, and why I hope that this YouTube and online experience allows for there to be a whole nother generation and generations after that of collectors, so that I can continue to enjoy it. I love the people, first off, involved with this hobby. From the first hobby store owners that I knew, the neighbors and classmates that I was able to build friendships with at different periods of time, through a shared idea of collecting, seeing the same faces at my local hobby shops and shows over and over again for years. Just for an example, I'm going to take a little side trip here. There's been a guy who's been setting up at the Stratford, Connecticut card show since before I started collecting, so well over 20 years now. And this last show, I was walking by his table, and he deals primarily in vintage. And if you have anything oddball vintage, and you are anywhere in the area of Connecticut, and you can come to a Stratford, Connecticut card show, the guy's name is Chuck Blue. And we thought we were going to lose him last year. He had some pretty serious medical stuff happen to him. But he is a great guy. He's been through a lot through this thing that he loves as well. And his entire table is almost always vintage. And I define vintage as usually about 15 to 20 years, older than present and stuff. But most of it's stuff from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So I'm walking by, and I see 4 cards basically from 08 to present that stand out like a sore thumb. He's got 3 tables worth of merchandise, and these make me literally stop in my tracks. There is an 2011 Plates and Patches Gronk 3-color patch auto, Lawrence Taylor 08 Topps Letterman Super Refractor 101, and he saw me stop and have this baffled look on my face. And I had to ask him about it, and he said I did something very uncharacteristic, and I traded one very nice vintage card for these 4 cards. I think there was a Chris Paul auto or something like that in there. And he was, and it was just a good conversation to have with somebody. And it's something that you can't take that out of context anywhere else. And it's something that I literally walked around the rest of the show with a little smirk on my face, because of the little exchange that we had following that, because I've known him for that long without really knowing him. I don't know if he's married. I don't know if he has kids. I don't know what he does for a living when he's not in that room. But all I know is I've been seeing him in that room and at other shows in this area for as long as I can remember. And that's how ingrained this hobby has been in my life. I've worked at a number of different hobby stores that have come and gone. I have I used to do shows with my parents, back in the early to mid '90s, when it was really all the rage to do that. I've seen a lot of trends come and go, but when I first got into it, it was when there was first really money in it. And there were a lot of new innovations that were coming along, new companies. I remember when Upper Deck launched. I remember when there was the first glossy pictures, when there was the high cardstock, the holograms, the Topps Gold, when the first Topps Gold parallel sets were coming out. And then I got away from it for a while, and I come back, and now there's serial numbered cards. I'm like, serial numbered cards? Well, there used to be millions of every card made. You mean there's a limited run? You mean they only made 10,000 of one particular card? I gotta get one of those. And then, oh, they put a piece of jersey in a card, and look how thick it is. And there's an autograph, and you know that there's supposed to be an autograph on there because there's a little write-up on the back of the card? When did that happen? And I did that for a while. And then I got out of it again because I was, late teens and graduating high school and, trying to get a girlfriend and everything else. And I come back to it again. How many hundred, there's over 100 baseball sets made in a year? That really happened? Prime memorabilia? One-of-a-kind cards? What, one? They only made one? They put the plates in a pack? You could open a pack and there's the plate that was used to make all the rest of the cards? Are you kidding? And so every time there's been something new. And without having taken a hiatus just in the past few years, but getting really delved into the hobby, seen all these other things, video trading cards and booklet cards. And I don't know if anybody saw the Panini National Treasures blog. They're going to make a 12-foot long, 36-piece fold-out booklet for this set. There's always something to be excited about. If you have it in you to begin with, I think. Some people don't get it. Not to offend the female members of the community, but most of the women in my life don't get it. And there's a lot worse things you could be involved with. There's a lot. Yes, it can be an addiction. Yes, you can end up spending too much money on it. But I think it's a little bit easier to control because, ultimately people can see something tangible. And when it's something tangible, no matter what it is, people can understand it better. That's why selling like radio advertising, for example, which I have some background in, is very difficult because there's nothing tangible about it. So what the radio stations will do is they'll print something with their station logo and sponsored by such and such a business and distribute it. So that's something that you can hold in your hands. That's why I've never understood this whole e-tops idea where you have cards on a computer bank that don't actually exist. Yes, you have it, but do you really? This I have. Okay, it's in, so that's tangible. Okay? So there's something about this hobby where you feel fulfilled with it, where it adds something that maybe your regular everyday life doesn't. It gives you something to look forward to. What's in your mailbox? What can I do for my collection? I'm going to sit there and scan cards into my PC buckets. How can I reorganize things? Do I have all this? Can I put things in supplies? What new stuff is going to come out for what I collect? And you're not chemically addicted to anything. You're not. I don't think sports car. Buying sports cards, opening packs of sports cards have led to a lot of drunk driving arrests. It's something that it's good for your kids to be around, unlike secondhand smoke or drugs and whatnot, and it brings people together in a way that is almost always positive. I can't think of a lot of instances where people have gotten into fistfights over cards. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there was a news report that I didn't get. But these are all things that I love about this hobby. And finally, Yankee Fan 95 Nick. I had some cards up for sale, and through his eBay account, he sends me this message, not about anything that I'm selling. It's like, hey, do you know of any good card stores in the area? And I'm thinking, okay, should I be nice and tell him, or should I be a dick and say, I'm sorry, do you have any questions about what it is that I'm selling? Because I don't look like, I'm not a phone book. I'm not Google. You can't just give me search criteria and I spit out an answer. Luckily, I decided to be nice because I happened to be in a good mood at that time. We've become friends since then. I got to do that today at work, by the way. Somebody was like, can you give me the information? I'm like, what am I, Google? Anyway, so, there are, but, and that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for cards. It's life experiences. And I don't know that there is, I'm sure that any hobby you have can do that. This has just been my personal experience. And I want to thank my parents for supporting it for all the time they have. My mother for buying me my first pack of cards. My father for taking me to my first card show. As he said in the video, JTellyCat0628, there's a lot of celebrities, mainly sports celebrities that I would not have met if it weren't for this. I would not have met some of the all-time greats in baseball history. Mantle, Aaron, Bob Gibson, Ron Guidry, Steve Garvey, Steve Carlton, Jim Rice, just Hall of Famers, legends, just amazing people that I can say to the future generations, these were the people who made the sports what they are. These are people that make it so that Alex Rodriguez can be a spoiled male model millionaire who also happens to play baseball. When he's not doing Cameron Diaz or whatever. I don't even know if they're still together. I don't care either. That's special to me. And that's why it's also given me perspective on history. I told somebody the other day about, I was in an essay writing contest in 5th grade for Black History Month, and everybody else was picking Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks and just all the classic historical figures, and I picked Jackie Robinson, and I thrashed everybody in my class with it. I mean, my teacher pulled me aside and said, look, subject matter wise, but you killed it with the essay. And I got entered into a citywide contest and came in 4th, and on the way out of the place, one of the people on the board stopped me and said basically the same thing, but we have to, for appearances, because we are Daughters of American Revolution, not some sports fund, sports group, we had to give it to them, but we gave you 4th, even though it wasn't announced, on almost an honorary thing because it was that good. So, and it was just because I had a Jackie Robinson card. That was it. It was there was a 1989 Bowman little submission contest where I had to fill out the back of the card and mail it in, and I never did, of Jackie Robinson, and it didn't have his name on it. So I went and asked who it was and got led on the whole story. And it all had, a couple years later, like I said, I'm almost winning awards because of this. So there's a lot to love about this hobby. We get bogged down in the tedious, the monotonous negatives. And just like everything else in life, you can't let that happen. The reason why I've changed the format of my channel, where I no longer allow people to rate and I approve all comments, is I want to use this channel as a positive extension, wherever possible, of my personal love for this hobby. And if you've got anything negative, if you've got a complaint against somebody, yeah, I'll listen. I'll be a good friend. I'm like that. I've always been told I'm like that. But I'm not going to let you use it as a venue for negative. I'm not going to let you use it as a way to promote your, latch on to the work that I've done to put this channel where it is. To glom on that and just put your name out there saying, please sub to my channel. It's a positive personal thing for me, and a way for me to share myself with you, a lot of which that I've never met, but I feel like you get me better than a lot of the people that I know. So on a final standpoint, this hobby has once again brought me to this. And I don't do social media other than this. So this is my outlet. And I thank you for indulging me with that. JTellYouCat0628, thank you for the contest. Don't really care what the prize is, because this was a good idea and kind of a cathartic experience for me. Look that one up, kids. Alright, YouTube. Peace.